Hello to a new GMP Detox session here with Markus Römer. I did poll on LinkedIn and was asking people what should be the next session about. And it's not really wondering. I had three topics defined: AI, ML, DL validation, audits of cloud services, and what, a little bit basic, what is a qualified person, but also important to know. The other sessions will also follow, but number one was, and I was expecting that AI, artificial intelligence, ML, machine learning, and DL, deep learning, how to validate that in a GMP context. So this is what the session will be about today, and I'm sharing my screen. We do it really with like in elections to show the results, or 63% we're talking about AI, and it is massively brought into our business by marketing and sales people. So what is in the first step very important, and I want to present to you the current thinking. So now it's September 2024, and it's basically pretty new. Some talk about a revolution and so on. I'm now 50 years old, and I have seen a lot of revolutions and things that were promised, but at the end, I think there's a balance in between that. Okay, so, but first of all, if you talk about AI, artificial intelligence, it's worth to think about that. Basically, it's a computerized system of a very special kind, way, setup, whatever. And this setup is based on, you see that here, I would call it an onion model with machine learning, with the networks, and with deep learning. And every AI, it's used very as a general expression, but looking on that, you must understand the machine below of that, what is deep learning, what kind of data sources you feed your artificial intelligence, how the thinking process is working, what is machine learning doing in that context, and how it is developed. So yes, it is a little bit special from the type of the system and how to make a model out of that, how to develop it. They also talk about development, but developing an AI is something else than doing classical software development. But sometimes, you know, if you talk about things, let's assume 25 years ago, somebody would have told you something about an iPhone or something like that, and you have never seen it or having it in your hands and understanding it, you will not be able to define an appropriate validation approach, or however you will see that. So nowadays, I just have taken here one example. Maybe there are thousands. People want to sell you whatever products. So just here, integrating AI and ML into healthcare research is one of the most exciting trends in life science. Oh, okay. Whenever you read life science, then you know you talk to a marketing message. You know, maybe it's pharma or it's medical device or however you call it. And then it's saying, in fact, it's more than a trend, it's a true revolution. Oh, yeah. First sit down, drink a cup of coffee or tea. That's unrevealing in front of our eyes. Okay. If we think today in this session about GMP, good manufacturing practice, first of all, you must find a business case, how you want to use that. People often tell you business cases in medicines to detect cancer in pictures and figures and what. Yes, that's true. Yes, there are very good business cases that can support a decision or an analysis, but don't worry, we will not all be replaced by the end of this month by AI and so on. So even Terminator had the movie Terminator has its role here in playing that. But okay, It's marketing. It's okay for me. Okay, so if we talk today about GMP, I do not talk about CGMP, US FDA, but we will have a quick step into US regulations for sure. But basically, will be very European today, and that's okay. You will see later why it makes sense. And in the GMP guidelines, you do not find any explicitly written wording saying you must validate AI, and here's exactly the instruction how to do it, follow this 12 steps, and then it's done. People sometimes have the expectations that in regulations you find precise instructions like in an SOP. And SOPs are not the regulations, and the regulations are not copied one-to-one into an SOP or something like this. You need to have some interpretation. You will not find anything like saying validate your SAP S/4HANA exactly like this, or your MS Excel spreadsheets that you are using in a laboratory. Basically, and finally, it's just computerized systems. And yes, AI is a different one with different layers, the machine learning and the deep learning stuff and so on. I will give you a quick view on that later. We will have a view into an easy development of an AI to better understand it. But in GMP regulations, I will never expect that AI will be mentioned or something like this, and the same for CGMP. Why we go to Europe? Number one, I'm a European, and secondly, they provided in June this year, so just 3-4 months ago, a regulation which is saying the Artificial Intelligence Act in Europe. Yes, basically that's a milestone what they have provided. We will not have the time in a YouTube session to read it entirely. It's well written. Sometimes, like in the European Commission and Union, is very complex. They also still, to their own procedures, there are some links wrong. Maybe we'll have that in the next revision fixed and so on. But there was the need to answer on the market what is with AI, and in Europe we will find this AI Act, which is a regulation. It's not a directive, it's a regulation, so it's applying to all the 27 member states in Europe. To my knowledge, and I'm not an AI lawyer, in the US, you will not find a regulation on a federal level right now. We will see that later. The president was doing an EA, executive order, how to handle AI. And there will be also a lot of discussions. And now, just before the presidential elections, there will be different opinions. But I don't know if we will have something coming up in the next 2 months. Again, European Commission with the number 2024, number 1689, and this is defining how we use AI in Europe. Quite very good, interesting to read. But again, if you step into a new project, in a new system, in a new thing, first of all, verify the regulations. A lot of suppliers don't know the regulation. That's very interesting. They want to sell you AI for whatever, I don't know. And the baseline, the compliance baseline, compliance means that you must comply with the regulations. So first step, it's quite very good if you know your regulations. So, and basically, to be fair, this is brand new, June 2024. Not everybody will have read it and can say every single line, something there. What is interesting here, because if the European Commission is writing a new regulation or even a directive, they refer here to harmonization legislation. So it's about harmonization. We have a lot of different regulations and directives in place. And if you see that here, that they say that that they say, since the making available or putting into service can take place only when the product complies with the applicable union harmonization legislation, to ensure consistency and avoid unnecessary administrative burdens or costs, providers of a product that contains one or more high-risk AI systems to which the requirements of this regulation and of the union harmonization legislation listed in an annex to this regulation apply. So what you will find there in this annex is the regulation, the medical device regulation, the new one, basically new one, just 3, 4, 5 years old, and the GMP regulations in the context of machinery regulation. It was a directive. Since 2 years, it's a regulation. So yes, and this is true what they say. You know, if we need to comply with our GMP regulations and currently directives in Europe, then the AI Act is not put on top or something like this. So it's not saying that we must do now double work of validation or something like this. You should be able to identify your systems. What is also important here to notice a high-risk AI system. We will see that later. In the US, to my knowledge, they don't want to do kind of this risk-based approach, let's call it like this. But here in Europe, we will find a definition, what is a high-risk AI system, and there's some kind of a catalog that you can go through, and then you know if it's a high-risk AI or is it only a supporting document. At the end, it's a computerized systems, and we have the GMP regulations. Same would apply for GCP, GLP, GDP, GVP, and so on. In this harmonization guidelines, you will also find this directive for machines where you get the CE mark, for example. And there you see here, like we have done it in the last 20 years, that we have special requirements for pharmaceutical products or pharmaceutical machines. I just showed that very quickly, but again, you see now the construction. We have the AI Act, and we refer to other harmonization guidelines, which were in place, will be in place since many years. So don't worry about that. Also, very quickly, there's a classification rules for high-risk AI systems. And, you know, again, it's talking about the business use cases, how you want to use that. So we will not have the idea to say, let's replace the qualified person for certifying the batch, but we can also say supporting records for trending, for example, what is with my water for injection, and what could affect the quality of the systems and things like this. So that's very interesting. If you start your AI project, first of that, look into this classification of this AI regulation of the European Union, and then first of all, first thing, like you would do it for computerized systems, some call it a high-level risk assessment or something like that, classify your AI system. What is also very interesting, and this is quite very nice for me to read, that they use also the word of validation. So the AI system should be validated. Oh, that keeps me thinking about European GMP Annex 11 for computerized systems. Exactly these things do apply. It's not really surprising, isn't it? Okay, so you need to have specifications. Specifications will look differently. What is the model for deep learning? What are the test data sets and the data sources? How you feed your machine learning system? What kind of logic do you give to them? That's different, like developing C++ or something like this. But no surprise, you will find the V model in here, more or less. Specifications. You need to have specifications. For sure, here I would manage it electronically, call it digital validation or however. Then you should do a supplier audit. This is not really new for us GMP guys, isn't it? We do that for APIs and starting materials, excipients, and laboratory services for providers of computerized systems, for providers of a cloud solution, whatever. And the same we will do for an AI supplier. We need to audit or to qualify these guys. And you see here it written a little bit generic, if they can make sure that the system is under control, if they have, the provider should establish a sound quality management system. Basically, you find exactly the same in Annex 11. So there's nothing new to it. In principle, for an AI validation, I would write a validation plan. I put all the regulatory references, GMP, or if it's also for the US, CGMP, part 210, 211, and so on. And new on the list for an AI is this European regulation, and it starts with the classification. Is it a high risk area? And then you could say, okay, according Article 85, does the provider have a quality management system? And you can do also a mapping table, because this is also in section 3 of Annex 11, because there it's written the requirements for suppliers and service providers, and there you will find the first topic is more or less, hopefully I get it right, the supplier should have a quality management system. That's it. Okay. And this must be seriously verified, because the technology and the thing is very new. So from a project management approach, you should pay special considerations for new things, built in time for thinking about it, right? Okay, so then no wonder we follow the V model again. I'm not reading the entire new AI regulation with you, but you should have an AI regulatory sandbox. You should do testing, product-oriented research and development. You should have test data sets. Maybe it will also go into a little bit into a direction, that would be my expectation, that you do a continuous AI process verification or something like this, like you do it according Annex 15, for example, for process validation, and to have this kind of continuous verification of your AI. You can even automate maybe this with test automatization, but no wonder you need to test it. So specification, supplier, risk assessment, everything is fine. And now the GMP heart is exploding. There should be also a process for a recall of an AI system. So if you see it's out of control, that you are able to recall it like we would recall a batch. If we would see later after batch certification and it's brought to the market, that we can bring it back. So basically here, Annex 11, it's a computerized system. Again, validation plan, review, investigate what kind of regulations are there, write your validation plan, take out the things, do a mapping of AI regulations with the GMP applicable GMP regulations, and then you are fine. And the testing approach will go more into, let's call it cross-validation or parallel testing, or also continuous verification of the system. In the moment, I would not be able to say what kind of period is good, maybe even on a daily basis. Then you should use automated testing, automated test scripts, for example. Then basically, I think it's not really a big problem. It's new challenges. By the way, don't believe someone telling you that they have 50 years of experience of AI validation or something like this. It is new, to be fair, it is new. In the European Union, quite very nice, there's an AI, Artificial Intelligence Act Explorer. I have bookmarked that, and you will find all this information also in different languages, in French, German, and Espanol. So everything is in here, well organized. What is also pretty cool, the European Union does have a compliance checker. You just click here on the check boxes, and then you know how and which sections might apply to you or not. I would even do that first, doing a printout and put it into my validation records. Quite very cool. A compliance checker online, easy to apply. Europeans also have written here the United States approach. They wanted to have it harmonized. In the moment, it looks like that there will be different regulations and different thinkings, different approaches behind of that, unfortunately. But you see how the EO and what the Republicans and the Democrats say about that. And we don't take the time today, but the European Union and US cooperate under a Trade and Technology Council, the TTC. You will see also here on the European Commission side, you see the TTC roadmap. We will see where it goes. I would love to have a harmonized approach for AI for US and Europe. In the moment, it does not look like that, unfortunately. Okay. So it makes always sense also here. It's a White & Case. I think they are more or less lawyers, and they have a look on that. You will find that for every country, like Canada and China. I don't know if China is taking care of public and private information. I don't know. And here, I just opened it for us. Currently, there's no comprehensive federal legislation or regulation in the US that regulate the development of AI or specifically prohibit or restrict their use or something like this. Not knowing it, was written in May 2024. This is how I read it, but especially here for something like this, it could change very quickly. Another thing is that I might show you quickly is we have also developed a CoPilot chatbot for different area. Sorry, it's in German, but it's about the GP HI, good practice of health information. We validated a website, and we were developing artificial intelligence and AI solution. Just that you understand it a little bit, you can add here knowledge. You can go on websites or PDF files, how you feed your AI. You can even define different actions, for example, and doing different analysis and doing an own setup, how you want to do that. Also the greetings and the logic behind of that for the next question and so on. Find very interesting. It's good to see that. And I just wanted to show it to you, and then you can publish it in different areas and so on. Quite very cool, at least for me, to get a little bit deeper understanding how this kind of development is done and how you can put in the things. And it's quite very interesting also if you then do a testing, a validation of your own artificial intelligence. Okay, but finally, you know, it's about the business case. So hopefully I was giving you a lot of new information and some insights how it can work and how it should work, or what are the current status of regulations. Check it. Today it's September 2024. 12 months, a lot of things could happen. I don't know, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for listening. That was Your Wish AI validation, and now I did the session for you. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.